the final question, and of course you can have your say on whatever you would like to. Your final word. It's kind of a two-part question. During your promo at Final Battle 2007, how much of that was a shoot, and how much was it just you leaning towards a heel turn? And which role do you find easier to play, a heel or a babyface?
What show are you talking about again? I've had lots of questions.
Final Battle 2007. Now, it's a chat question, so I can't really pinpoint what exactly. I guess it was a promo where you apparently were leaning towards going to a heel. I believe that was when you cut the promo on the crowd for not caring about you when you got injured, and that was right after you won the title, actually. But
was that after the match with Aries where I got all those stitches in my face?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so what was the question again? What about it?
How much of that was a shoot, and how much was it just a scripted promo?
Well, it was obviously a scripted promo, but the sentiment was very much real. There was nothing said that I didn't believe wholeheartedly. Ironically enough, it took me about 3 hours to try and get the words in my head because I legitimately had a concussion from the night before. And I think that's one thing that's really stuck in my head in the weeks and months that followed that night was that they wanted me to go out there and wrestle and match. And if these people are so smart and they seem to think they understand, what it takes to have a match, certainly a match the quality of Ring of Honor main events, they'd want me to go and do that with a concussion when I had trouble, stringing a sentence together. It really boggles your mind. In no other business, in no other entertainment form would fans really expect you to do that. But for some reason, wrestling, because it's, I guess it's not real and it's all fake, wrestlers are just supposed to go out there and carry on because no one believes anything anymore, You can cut your arm off with a chainsaw and all of a sudden, oh, no, it wasn't real, and, it was a fake arm and blah, 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 and it just ruins it for everybody, really, I mean, you talk about being a babyface or a heel. To be honest with you, ever since Steve Austin, I think the terms are just they're just irrelevant nowadays. I just don't think that babyface and heels is it just makes you sound like an idiot if you even talk about it. To be perfectly honest with you, Yeah, okay. I don't want to sound like Vince McMahon because, I'm not going to say everybody's all shades of grey, but, there are certain people that people have a natural affinity for and like, and I guess you could call those people baby faces, and there are certain people that people generally don't like, and you could call those people heels, but they're baby face or heel, by nature of how people react to them, not by nature of how they act, if you can understand the difference. It used to be that baby faces didn't cheat, and baby faces stuck to the rules, and they were hard-working, honest-to-good people, whereas heels were bad and dastardly and blah, 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 blah. And that, to me, is more fake than any other aspect of the wrestling business because people aren't like that, I mean, no one's inherently good and no one's inherently 100% bad. Everyone's, somewhere in between. And if you try and push these ideas that people are one or the other, especially when people go from baby face to heel, inverted commas, then it just makes no sense because nobody does that, I mean, even when people do have epiphanies in real life and try and turn their life around, no one ever goes from being a sinner to a saint overnight. It just doesn't.
Very true.
It doesn't happen like that, you know what I mean? So I just feel most natural being myself out there, and I think generally speaking, people react to that negatively. So, if you want to sort of characterize that and name that as, okay, I feel more comfortable being a heel, then you can call it that way. But to me, I say people feel more comfortable reacting negatively to the way I wrestle. You could argue and talk about it all night. It's really just a question of semantics. But ultimately, I think that's the sort of direction that I really I tend towards, because I just don't, I don't wrestle that sort of style that is really, makes people go, "Way, oh, I love watching him wrestle." I don't do flips and flops and all these fantastic athletic maneuvers. I hit people hard and I work hard and I do absolutely anything I possibly can to win. And that gets the job done, so to speak.
All right, that was a fantastic answer. I couldn't have asked for a better. I couldn't ask for a better answer to a question than that. Well, we appreciate you being on the show. Is there anything you want to plug or anything you want to say before we let you go?
The only thing I want to plug I can't talk about. So, did you get my email about that or not?
Yeah, yes, I did get that. That's why I didn't mention it at all. So, I'll mention something about it on the show after you're gone. Not nothing specifically, but.
No, you don't need to. It's just a joke.
All right. Well, Nigel, you are a very great guest. We hope to have you back sometime, maybe in the future. Guys, check out Ring of Honor. I'm sure you'll be on the. I know you're at the TV tapings coming up in Philadelphia
tapings this weekend, and then I'm going to be in New York City for that show. I'm going to be ringside for the main event, which I believe is Aries and Jerry Lynn. And then I'll be obviously wrestling Claudio like we talked about in Detroit on the 26th, and sort of taking the training wheels off that weekend going forward. So no, nothing specifically I want to plug, but I do want to try and implore people just to keep supporting the product because it's so important to have an alternative out there, and we're still in a process of trying to adapt a new direction and, try and make our product more, fan-friendly for TV. And, that's what happens when you get put on TV. You have a lot more masters to please. It's not the same as when you're not on TV. So it's a work in progress. And, I just hope that, all the fans keep believing in us and, I appreciate all the hard work we do and show that by continuing to support us,
I mean, no doubt. Like you said, there is always good to have an alternative out there. Ring of Honor has been the best in-ring product for quite a few years. I just happen to have the luxury of living outside of Philadelphia and being able to go to plenty of Ring of Honor shows over the years. So
I wouldn't call that a luxury, living outside of Philadelphia.
No, it's not a luxury for the location, trust me. But I have got to see a lot of great wrestling that I know people around the country haven't got a chance to see till just recently. Actually seen like the 4th Ring of Honor show ever. So, I mean, it's just you guys have grown tremendously, and you were the head of that company for, almost 2 years. So, but yeah, thank you for coming on the show, Nigel. You were a wonderful guest. Keep in touch through email if you feel like it. You know the address. And we hope to have you on the show again soon. All right, guys.